local, lethal, and loud. This is the Scooter McGee Show on News Talk 1310 KFKA.
The following program is closed captioned for the thinking impaired.
Be guided by what is. It's your only hope.
And watch your light, my only friend, through teenage nights. And everything I had to know, I heard it on my radio.
News Talk 1310 KFKA.
You've only got a couple of hours left. If you're going to pull a party out of your ass, you might want to stand up.
Hello. Thank you for listening to the New World Order Report with the Conspiracy Keepers. My name should not matter. What should matter is that the information presented here be given to everyone you know. We hope that you, the listener, explore the possibility that we are in fact being controlled by forces well outside the circle of decency and morals. A circle that is just part of the many symbols used every day to keep you in fear, in the dark, and uninformed. Our topic today, and every day, is the New World Order agenda. How do you know which societies are working with the New World Order and which ones are not? Find out now. Here come the Conspiracy Keepers.
Good evening, Gotham, Metropolis, Emerald City, Xanadu, Babylon, to the ISS, and the rest of you. Welcome back to a second of 3 hours of intellectual intercourse, out-of-the-box discussion, and a little ADD theater, otherwise known as a Quantum News Network production of the Scooter McGee Show, in which I am he, broadcasting live from the Pro Realty Old Town Studios. That, of course, our good friend Matt Rivette. The markets are what they are right now. Good, bad, high interest rates, low interest rates. High saturation, low saturation. Matt's seen it all. So if you want to tuck the number away, make sure you do. 970-356-1234. Too easy, but I'll give it to you again. 970-356-1234. And thanks to everybody at Pro Realty Old Town for supporting live and local radio. We have some very difficult headlines to get through here in the 11 o'clock hour. Joe Lanier is going to stick with us here through the bottom of the hour, where we technically do On This Day in Illuminati History. If his voice is good, he can hold through it. We'll cut him loose then at the quarter. But up and down the dial today, the discussion of implanting the microchip now to replace your credit cards and your car keys. From the guy who has locked his keys. I lock my keys in my car on average twice a year. Okay? Since the first day of September, I did it twice in a month. No! You're not chipping me so I can get into my car. We are all protons, neutrons, and electrons. Some of you are going to get pissed at what I'm going to say next. Guess what? Too and bad. We are, in theory, created in God's image. If that statement is true, God all-seeing, all-knowing. God, supercomputer. Us, computers. And you want to let somebody put in another motherboard? Go stand in that line and get on the train. The train takes you to what? Well, the one argument is F.E.M.A camps. And yet, there it's clearly laid out in the military, civilian inmate labor detention programs. There's the entire layout when it comes to F.E.M.A and the mass evacuation and not deportation, but how they quickly move you and scatter you across the United States so it takes you months to get back to where you're supposed to live, and by then the government's taking your property. The creation of megapolises, if you will, gigantic cities where you live in less than 500 square feet. and they control your every movement. Those of you who are lucky to get through it. And most of you won't believe what we say. And a lot of you are now starting to joke about it, but that means because you're hearing enough about it, you think it's funny. It's going to get to the point where you're going to start researching it, and then you're not going to feel well. Because the same people who've been telling you that Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny are real, the same ones who claim that they can protect you from terrorists, the same ones who claim that they'll make sure that it's a fair playing field for all, are nothing more than occultists, pedophiles, and some of the worst of the worst of the worst. And what's even more frightening is that they come from a very specific few, and they hide in plain sight. And we try and point that out. We being the Conspiracy Keepers. Find us online, conspiracykeepers.com or theconspiracyzone.org. Joe Lanier, the chair, of course, from his bunker tonight. Welcome back, Joe.
Very good. Yes. By the way, I want to elaborate on what you were talking about now as far as the FEMA camps. I think it's a little bit ironic. I want people to really watch how they control your mind and how they get you prepared for things. I want you to look at the Walmarts, Targets, a lot of these big stores, and I want you to look at how they're designed. And they look like prison camps because they've got the watchtower up there. And it doesn't really make any sense if you look at a Walmart. So what is this watchtower? Why do they have this up there?
As I point out to listeners,
gradually
every Walmart, embassy barriers. You walk in where they put the shopping carts. It's all concrete.
Right,
well, look above. Then explain to me why they have this gigantic supposed fire suppression system. No, it's a decontamination room.
Right. So what they're doing is, I mean, these
and notice the floors. Notice the cameras above the floors. Notice on the Walmart how it's all laid out. All those shelves are on wheels. Those become detention areas. The cameras up above are all the watch areas, and the guards do what they do.
Oh my gosh! I went to the Walmart not too long ago, a couple weeks ago, next to us, and there are those white cameras like everywhere, and they're especially under the guard towers, which you see these towers with these little roofs on them, which look like prison camps. You know, they're getting you used to looking at that, and once you get used to it, once the FEMA camps start popping up, you're going to say, "Oh, I've seen this before on Walmart and Target. This is no threat to me." So I want people to understand how they're conditioning you.
They've been driving by it every day.
Yes. Yeah. So this is all conditioning. So what I want you to understand is how the brain works. And we need to understand that these people have understood how the brain works since ancient Babylon. So they know how to manipulate you. They know how to make you think about a certain thing. They know how to make you see something and associate with it, because the brain does not operate on logic. It operates on
emotion.
Association. So
I'm sorry.
When your brain sees
wait a
something,
minute. Stop.
It doesn't say, "Oh, that's not
Stop,
logical
Joe.
to me." It
Joe.
says, "Oh, I've seen that before.
Joe.
Okay.
I said the brain works on emotion. You said the brain works on association. Define.
Well, it's basically the same thing. If somebody says something enough to you, like Hitler even knew this. It's like if we repeat the same thing enough, it's going to accept it as the truth. Now that's emotion because it's repetition. So it's not based on logic.
Okay.
It's based on emotion. It's based on repetition. So basically, we just said the same thing.
Okay.
So I just want you to understand the brain does not logically work. Logic has to be studied, and it takes work. Emotion and association just takes something to be repeated time and time and time again, and you'll say, yeah, that must be the truth because I've seen this 100 times. Now, that's not logical, but that's how they understand the brain works, and that's how they manipulate every man and woman child on this planet.
Joe, to make the segments fair, it's 15 after, 15 to the bottom. Let's just keep it on the numbers tonight at Quantum News Network production of the Scooter McGee Show. Plenty of time left if you're still looking for booze delivered in Greeley and in Evans. Give Greeley Westside Liquor a call, 970-353-0036. And we'll be back real quick. 3 minutes, 10 seconds, and more with Joe Lanier and the Conspiracy Keepers right here on 1310 KFKA.
Become a friend of Scooter McGee or like the Scooter McGee Show page. More of the Scooter McGee Show in a moment.
My dad told me cars are expensive to own and maintain, and I told my kids the same thing because it's true. If only the maintenance costs could be lessened. They can, but the trick, if you will, is to find a quality service and repair facility like Auto Tailor. Auto Tailor will tailor preventative maintenance to your specific vehicle and then expertly diagnose and complete needed repairs using top quality parts. It really is as simple as those 2 steps done well. Auto Tailor, a AAA approved auto repair facility in Greeley at 10th Avenue and 16th Street.
The home of the UNC Bears.
Picked up by UNC. Isaiah Swopes has his first interception of the season at the 43-yard line of Bears territory.
Northern Colorado's football station, 1310 KFKA.
This is the voice of the Bears, Troy Coverdale, inviting you to join Aaron Rath and me from Boulder Saturday. 12:05 kickoff between the Buffs and the Bears. Our coverage begins at 11:05 with Blue and Gold Game Day on 1310 KFKA.
So you think the Pawn Stars are in Vegas, huh? Have you been to City National Pawn? 3301 West 10th Street in Greeley, and you're the Pawn Star. With great deals on commercial and industrial tools, electronics, smartphones, laptops, and fine jewelry. So many great deals and a constantly changing inventory guarantee you get the best deal in town at City National Pawn. Need quick cash fast? City National Pawn has got you covered there too. Monday through Friday and Saturdays, remember, you're the Pawn Star at City National Pawn, 3301 West 10th Street in Greeley.
Matt Rivette started in real estate just in time for the bottom to fall out of the market. And it turns out it was a good time to start. From day one, Matt Rivette had to do it right. Serve the client. Turn for sale into sold. 32 years later, we know market conditions will change. But Matt Rivette's commitment to you won't. This is a good time to get to know Matt Rivette at Pro Realty. List your commercial, income, or residential property with Matt Rivette. Call Matt Rivette at 970-356-1234 or go to ProRealtyHomes.com.
What may be junk to you just might be another man's treasure. From stamps, sports memorabilia, silverware, or old jewelry, what may be junk to you just might be another man's treasures. Located at 2002 9th Street in Greeley, Another Man's Treasures can take these old items and convert them into cold, hard cash. Located at 2002 9th Street, remember Another Man's Treasure.
The problem with most gyms is, well, they're gyms. Double Diamond CrossFit knows what it takes to get the results you're looking for. CrossFit is high-intensity, short workouts designed to improve your core and cardiovascular strength. Double Diamond CrossFit has classes throughout the day with certified coaches. You show up, warm up, and build your better body, all with the support of the CrossFit family. Double Diamond CrossFit on the corner of 59th Avenue and 10th Street in Greeley. Call 970-302-2024. And don't forget to ask how you can get a free week on us.
The following program is intended for mature audiences.
This is Jeremy Vaney, and you're listening to Scooter McGee on News Talk 1310 KFKA.
Okay, welcome back, Gotham. And welcome back, my guest and very good friend, Joe Lanier. Welcome back, Joe.
Thank you, Scooter. Thank you very much.
I don't know. I'm gonna test your memory real quick.
Okay, very good.
Today is Thursday. It's 2017.
Yes.
Okay, tomorrow technically is Friday, but today, because of Tuesday, September 11th being what it was, this is Friday. Do you remember where you were tonight 16 years ago?
Oh my goodness. You know what? I really don't.
You were with me.
Okay.
and you were pouring tequila down everybody's throats. Remember? That's
you know what?
That's what started that night because we were closed.
Of the aforementioned incident.
No, but we were closed Wednesday and Thursday. Dad said open the club. Remember, I called all you guys, so we all hung out because we had to do the 80s retro dance party anyway. This room is dead. Wake 'em up. That's what Dad said. So I threw I put tequila, 212 on, and you and your muscles went out in front of the DJ booth, and they all looked at us like, "What the are those guys doing?"
Once again, my standard answer is I have
no recollection of that center. Yeah. And how?
Although it might be true.
But Chris was there. You were there. I was there.
Yeah. Right.
And I forget if it was Denise or Jackie. Brian Thorpe was there. But yes, it was a horribly long night because again of the week that was, and trying to go back to some semblance of normalcy. And what you were and the reason I brought that up is because while I was standing outside in the break. And you know I'm the more conservative. But between Harvey and Irma alone, we're looking at 1 million homeless.
Right.
And what you were discussing with FEMA camps, again, in all of the shows we've done, whether it be the hidden the mausoleum cemeteries in the desert and the FEMA coffin liners up and down the east and west coast, along as well as the desert and the Pacific Northwest, what we know about the secret agreements with Walmart, Department of Homeland Security, FEMA, etc. All of this is real. But it really hit me just between Harvey and just between Irma. Conservatively, we could be looking at 1 million homeless.
Oh, yeah. Well, absolutely.
And you're exactly right well, where do we go? Oh, well, we have a place for you.
Right, because there's nowhere for these people to go. So once again, it's problem, reaction, solution. So FEMA's like saying, okay, we're going to put all these people homeless, and we're going to have a place for them to go because they're going to say, well, where do we go? Our houses are flooded. There's no place for us to stay. And FEMA's going to say, hey, we've got the solution to your problem. We've got camps for you to go in. So this whole thing was planned, and it's going to get deeper because this is just the beginning. I mean,
where do you see? Okay,
this is not the end.
Then I'm gonna shut up. You got 8 minutes to the bottom. If your voice is still strong and want to stay with On This Day in Illuminati history, go. But then, where do you see this going?
Well, I see it getting worse. I think they are right now turning up the heat again because once we've talked about 9/11. And too many people caught on. And we've talked about this before because the Illuminati have to telegraph what they're going to do. That's the occult way. They say, we have to tell you what we're doing. And if you don't catch on,
that's our implied
the implied consent to keep doing it. So they backed off a little bit after 9/11, but now they're turning up the heat again. So I believe that too many people are being fooled right now because they say, Hurricane Harvey, Hurricane Irma, those were natural disasters, and I don't see anything to this. I mean, too many people aren't getting that these are engineered storms. So that's what's going to do to the Illuminati is say, okay, well, people aren't catching on, so we can turn the heat up again, and they're going to do it. So we see Hurricane Jose, and by the way, it's not just hurricanes. They're going to do this in other areas as well, whether it be terrorist nukes, whether it be a natural disaster like Hoover Dam exploding or whatever. So it's just not limited to storms. But I believe because people are being dumbed down again, they're backing off after 9/11, saying, "Oh, these are natural disasters." Now they're saying, "Okay, here we go again." They're not getting it, so we're going to turn up the heat once again. It's disturbing. I know.
It is.
I know. Everybody's like saying,
well, my brain now is
really
running
disturbing.
in another direction, and that, again, when talking of the displacement of homeless, it was so quick when Congress came in, hey, we've got to raise the debt ceiling. Now, I did point this out. I don't know if you want to touch on this. So now we're $20 trillion in debt. Again, back to mafia terms. The VIG is $377 billion a day. Well, there are only 330 million Americans. We can't pay the interest on the loan.
Right.
So on my planet, this is where Moose and Rocco come in to help you find your checkbook.
Yeah.
Then we have the behavior, of course, in the Asian Pacific Theater with Lil Kim. North Korea earlier today, another launch over Japan. Now South Korea in literally the last 2 hours, breaking news. South Korea has now responded with its own missile launch. They are literally wanting to bring us to the brink of either World War IV, World War Z, World War III, call it what you want, but it's what they need for the ultimate diversion. You still agree with that?
I absolutely do. As a matter of fact, there is no war between Korea and the U.S., Russia, none of us. You have to understand, they're all on the same side. They're all controlled by the same people. They're all controlled by the globalists. So this whole thing about, what are we going to do with North Korea? They're launching nukes. Can we launch nukes? It's like, no. They're all controlled by the globalists. They're all on the same side. This is all a distraction. They're all trying to get you concentrated on the wrong thing, not understanding that in the end, the solution will be, hey, U.S., Korea, Russia, we've got an answer to your nuke problems, to where you won't have to fight anymore. It's, guess what? A new world order, to where you're all on the same side. And all the people who are afraid of these nukes, oh my God, are we going to be nuked? Is this a new Cuban Missile Crisis back in the 60s with JFK? All those people, the fears are going to be saying, oh, thank goodness. Steady heads have availed for this and saying, oh, we got the solution to this. A new world order, so we don't have to fight anymore. And everybody's going to go along with this. People, can't you see what's going on right now? This is so obvious to me. It should be obvious to you. This is all a big front to establish a new world order. That's
Joe,
what this is all about.
In a total tangent, a couple of weeks ago, we were discussing the argument in the post-eclipse show regarding the flat earth theory.
Yes, right.
Up and down social media right now, all eyes agaze in the solar system at Cassini.
Yeah.
And the Cassini, as it prepares its demise, as it will be captured by a celestial body and burn up. Again, more diversion?
And more diversion. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, absolutely. Almost everything is a diversion right now, unless it's leading you to the conclusion as to what they want, which is a one-world government.
Well, then we're back to NASA's, and again, also proud of 40 years of Voyager, and they announced that when they launched Voyager 40 years ago, Voyager had artificial intelligence on it.
Yeah.
They let that slip out.
Exactly. So that's where all this is going. So if you're afraid of something, if you're looking at the news and you're saying, wow, I'm afraid, what's Korea going to do? What's the U.S. going to do? What's Russia going to do? I'm afraid. Guess what? They're going to come up with a solution.
See, and my argument about North
this
Korea,
is going to leave my fears.
My
and
whole
it's
argument,
be
though,
that's not in your best interest.
But Joe, my argument in North Korea is, again, China. You know how much they have invested in us. Plus, they have tens of billions invested in others. The minute North Korea becomes a threat, China takes them out. That's my opinion.
I believe, and you may be right. I mean, I'm not saying that I have a complete end for all this, but my opinion is that China, North Korea, Russia, the U.S. is all controlled by the same people, and any fear that we have that any one of those are going to get out of line is going to be quenched when they say we've got a solution. We can all live at peace. We can all live as one world government. And you see not only that, but you see it in the songs. You see, John Lennon talking about that the world will live as one.
Imagine the
we,
world.
We saw Michael Jackson with We Are the World.
Man in the Mirror.
It's all a manipulation to make everybody believe that the world can be one. But back in Genesis, when they wanted to build a tower, and God said, we can't have this because what they're doing will lead to the demise of this nation. So he said he confused the languages, so they had to make nations. So that's why God did this to make the world not be as one. To where in those boundaries they will try to find him and say, okay, this is not the solution of one world government. The solution is a belief in our God. So since then, Satan has always been trying to get the world back as one, as it was in the Tower of Babel, when God said, this is not good. I'm going to force them to confuse the languages and create nations.
We are 30 after, 30 to the top. We'll return with Joe Lanier. We'll get through On This Day in Illuminati History. We'll go to the corner break, cut him loose, and reset the Scooter McGee Show.
Are you listening to the Scooter McGee Show? Well, misery does love company. Stay tuned to News Talk 1310 KFKA. 1310 KFKA's First Alert Weather, powered by Denver 7.
The Northern Colorado forecast, isolated showers are possible early tonight, then fair and cooler, low in the low 50s. Tomorrow, nice day, not as hot, highs will be in the low 80s, with a slight chance of an afternoon shower storm. Great looking weekend, lows around 50. I'm Denver 7 Chief Meteorologist Mike Nelson, 1310 KFKA. This weather update is brought to you by CRP 4x4, located at the corner of 9th Street and 21st Avenue in Greeley. Call them at 970-351-8603.
America's Retirement Store in Loveland, 970-776-7500 or online at americasretirementstore.com.
What may be junk to you just might be another man's treasure. From stamps, sports memorabilia, silverware, or old jewelry, what may be junk to you just might be another man's treasures. Located at 2002 9th Street in Greeley, Another Man's Treasures can take these old items and convert them into cold, hard cash. Located at 2002 9th Street, remember Another Man's Treasure.
Matt Rivette started in real estate just in time for the bottom to fall out of the market. And it turns out it was a good time to start. From day one, Matt Rivette had to do it right. Serve the client. Turn for sale into sold. 32 years later, we know market conditions will change. But Matt Rivette's commitment to you won't. This is a good time to get to know Matt Rivette at Pro Realty. List your commercial, income, or residential property with Matt Rivette. Call Matt Rivette at 970-356-1234 or go to ProRealtyHomes.com.
So you think the Pawn Stars are in Vegas, huh? Have you been to City National Pawn? 3301 West 10th Street in Greeley, and you're the Pawn Star. With great deals on commercial and industrial tools, electronics, smartphones, laptops, and fine jewelry, so many great deals and a constantly changing inventory guarantee you get the best deal in town at City National Pawn. Need quick cash fast? City National Pawn has got you covered there too. Monday through Friday and Saturdays, remember, you're the Pawn Star at City National Pawn, 3301 West 10th Street in Greeley.
Gotta get a better angle.
John, what are you doing?
I was in an accident yesterday, and my insurance adjuster wanted me to use my smartphone to snap a couple of pictures of the damage. Then I gotta send it over to them. He said they'd write me an estimate and have the money in my account today.
Wait a minute. How could they possibly write an honest and accurate estimate from pictures?
They can't. And why would they? Hi, I'm Mike from Auto Collision Specialists. The insurance companies are at it again. This time they're using your smartphone to rip you off. I've been in the business of repairing cars most of my life. Even with my 30 years of estimating experience, I can't write an accurate estimate from pictures. When I tell you taking pictures of the damage and sending it to your insurance company is a bad idea, you better believe it. If you've had an accident, insist that someone from the insurance company and the body shop of your choice physically examine your car. Don't let the insurance companies use your smartphone to outsmart you.
Auto Collision Specialists, we'll take care of that.
It's football season, and that means the Ernest College Junior Show airs Tuesday nights at 6:05 on 1310 KFKA, live from Stuffed Burger Bar on the 9th Street Plaza in downtown Greeley. Join the head coach and me each Tuesday evening as we discuss Bears football. Your questions and comments are welcome on Twitter at UNC Bears Radio, #AskTheCoach. Find me on Facebook at Troy.Coverdale. Or join Ernest and me at Stuffed Burger Bar in Greeley Tuesdays at 6:05. The Ernest Collins Jr. Show on 1310 KFKA.
Recognized by the Colorado Broadcasters Association as best news talk show host in a major market. You're listening to the Scooter McGee Show on News Talk 1310 KFKA.
The following program is closed captioned for the thinking impaired.
Hi, this is Caroline Ray, and you're listening to Scooter McGee on 1310 KFKA.
Okay, good evening and welcome back, Gotham. And welcome back, Joe Lanier.
Thank you.
Joe, I think maybe next week, if Backlash's schedule permits, you guys need to come up. If for no other reason, you guys need to come get the steamer trunks.
You know what I want to do? I want to kind of tease what we want to do the next time we get together. And I want to talk to Cynthia Schneider again, which we have talked to on our show before. And I want to get into a reason why I want to talk to her right now.
Well, because after we get through on this day in Illuminati history, I want to get to the Hyperloop before you go.
Okay. Yeah, let's do that.
From Pueblo, Colorado Springs, D.I.A., Denver, Greeley. What are you? Yeah, the Hyperloop. And Cynthia Schneider, of course, and Phil Schneider, of course, of the Secret Tunnels under D.I.A. So let's get to on this day in Illuminati history, Joe.
Yes.
Headlines the past. Tomorrow, 9/15/17. Let's go back in time. Here in the colonies, 1775. An early, unofficial American flag is raised by Lieutenant Colonel Isaac Mott. This after the seizing of Fort Johnson from the British. The flag? Dark blue, with one word in white. Liberty spelled on it. 1776, British forces now occupy New York City during the American Revolution. It is on this day, 1789, the U.S. Department of Foreign Affairs renamed the State Department. 1821, Costa Rica, Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua, and El Salvador all proclaiming independence. Talk about the glass ceiling here, Joe. 1853, Reverend Antoinette Brown Blackwell, now ordained, becoming the first female minister in the United States. It is on this day, 1883, the University of Texas at Austin opens. You know they have a nuclear reactor in the basement.
I know they do.
Turning the century, 1909, the New York judge ruling the Ford Motor Company had infringed on George Selden's patent for what was the road engine, otherwise known as the horseless carriage. The ruling later overturned, but it didn't matter. George Selden now out of business, and the Ford Motor Company becomes what it becomes. It is on this day, 1916, during the Battle of Somme in France. Tanks now first used in warfare as the British roll them out onto the battlefield. 1923, Oklahoma placed under martial law by Governor John Calloway. This due to terrorist activity by the Ku Klux Klan. After this declaration, national newspapers begin exposing the Klan for its criminal activities. It is on this day, 1935, the Nuremberg Laws, enacted by Nazi Germany, the act stripping all German Jews of their civil rights, and the swastika now made the official symbol of Nazi Germany. 1940, the Luftwaffe suffering a loss of 185 planes in the Battle of Britain. This changes the tide and forces Hitler to abandon his plans for the invasion of Britain. 1949, Hi-Ho Silver, The Lone Ranger, premieres on ABC Radio. Clayton Moore, the voice of the Lone Ranger, along with Jay Silverheels as Tano. 1950, UN forces land at Incheon, Korea, in an attempt to relieve South Korean forces and recapture Seoul. It is on this day, 1959, Then Soviet Premier Nikita Khrushchev arrives in the U.S. to begin his coincidental, Joe, 13-day visit. Did we lose you? Joe? Hello? Hold on, we lost Joe. What? We couldn't have. Hold on, I'll get him back. I have no idea what that is. That's you. Right?
Something happened. I'm here.
Yeah. I don't know what happened either. Where did I lose you?
I don't know. I just heard your last sentence, and something happened to where we got cut off. I mean, I'm not surprised.
Did you hear Lone Ranger?
I did. Yes,
Okay.
I heard that. Yes.
Okay, so that's 49. In 1959, Joe, Nikita Khrushchev arrives here in the United States.
By the way, Nikita Khrushchev was 5'4". I think I could have kicked his butt.
Well, we know that half of you could have. What's the guy's? Is it Vern? What's the guy who plays Mini-Me from the Austin Powers? Vern something?
Oh,
Troy.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
He could beat up Khrushchev.
Yeah.
Anyway, what I wanted to point out in significance, Joe, 1959, of course, Nikita Khrushchev comes here, the infamous UN banging the shoe on the the whole drill.
Yeah.
But
right.
it's a 13-day visit.
Oh, yes. Okay, that's where we got cut off. I'm not sure if the powers that be are listening to us and kind of messing with us, but yeah, that's what I heard.
1961, now under Kennedy, the United States resumes underground testing of nuclear weapons.
Yes, right.
1978, Leon Spinks gets the kicked out of him by a Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, right. I remember that.
So do I, Ruthless the Toothless.
Yes.
Wasn't it like 18 months later, didn't he get caught with all that blow in the trunk?
Yeah, he had like $1.50 worth of cocaine in his hat. And I'm thinking, he got turned in. I'm thinking, how do you get turned in for $1.50 worth of cocaine? I'm thinking, I tell you how, his dealer turned him in. Leon says, hey, dealer, you got $1.50 worth of cocaine? He says, can you call the police? Yeah, that's what happened there.
Anyway, 99, the UN now approving deployment of the multinational peacekeeping forces of East Timor. And in 2012, Legoland in Malaysia opened. So those are the headlines everybody will be talking about tomorrow, supposedly.
Nice.
But the biggie that I left out, where I want you to take this, and then I'll let you go.
Okay.
Tomorrow, 1997. Okay?
Yeah.
Google.com got registered.
Wow. Interesting. I didn't know that.
So now in the world of electronics, the microchip, the one world government, one world banking.
Yeah,
again,
right.
And we didn't even touch tonight again this thing about, the credit bureaus, Equifax being hacked.
Yeah.
And
right.
again,
yep.
this
yep.
problem reaction solution is for the new version of internet that will be more suppressed versus the version that's out there. So that's why I wanted to save 97, give the floor to you, and then once we can go long and go 47, 48 if you want, but then I'll cut you loose unless your voice is strong and want to stay to the end, but then I'm going to let you go.
Okay. Well, what I want to do, you're exactly right, because the credit bureau, I think, was a complete fraud. I mean, that was created to happen.
Yep.
Because what they're trying to do right now is, because keep in mind, the Bible says that they want everybody chipped. They want a microchip in your hand or your forehead.
Well, we didn't know that other than accepting the mark of the beast, and there are many who claim that the chip is that.
Yeah, exactly. So if they can create a fear in your heart, it's like, oh my goodness, my credit is being hacked. Oh my goodness, my credit cards aren't any good anymore. Oh my goodness, my credit is out on the internet. The only solution is for me to have a mark on my own hand to where they can't hack it anymore, because I can go to King Supers or whatever and swipe my hand and have nothing to do with my credit anymore. So this is a big plan. Nothing happens by accident. Equifax, Experian, the TransUnion, it doesn't matter which one. That didn't happen by accident. This kind of thing does not happen by accident. This happens by plan to get you, once again, into microchipped into the New World Order. Dang it. People, you got to see this. It's so obvious to us. But what I want to talk about right now, before you let me go, is I want to talk about what we want to talk about next week. And what I want to talk about next week is the underworld, the tunnels, under D.I.A., under the world.
Again, 20-plus years of, quote, construction, and it hasn't been. Right. It's been excavation.
And then this is why I want to talk about this, because on my website, theconspiracyzone.org, I've been contacted by numerous sources. And I was contacted by the History Channel. They flew me out to L.A., and they did a 2-hour interview with me. And they cut out everything that was relevant. They didn't let me talk about a lot of things. And then a little bit over a year ago, the Travel Channel flew me out, and this was in Knoxville, Tennessee, and they wanted to talk about the tunnels, or the military base under the Smoky Mountains. Now, I will say this, they let me talk about a little bit more than the History Channel did, but they still cut out the relevant stuff.
Again, CIA owned and controlled.
Go ahead.
We know it's CIA owned and controlled.
We do.
It's controlled opposition.
Yes, but what they both cut me out of was a guest that you and I had on our show, which was Cynthia Schneider. So, what I want to point out is they both admit that there are military bases underneath America, underneath the world. They both admit that there are tunnels underneath the world. But what they would not let me talk about, what they would not let our show talk about, is why they're doing it and what they're doing. They both cut that out. And that's why I want to have Cynthia Schneider on our show again, because I want to talk to her about this, because they don't want to talk about what they're really doing. And she had talked about in depth what they talked about with Phil Schneider and his death.
And this was technology of 30-plus...
on the show again.
Right, and again, the Hyperloop that's making the attention here in Colorado and now nationwide, this is technology of 30-plus years ago, according to Phil Schneider.
Yes,
30, if not 50 years ago.
Exactly.
But certainly in the 30 to 40-year range.
Yeah, so what I want to point out is, because both of these shows has flown me out, and the Travel Channel flew me out on a Learjet, so they didn't spare any expense. So they let me talk about the fact that there is a military base underneath the United States. They both did. They both let me talk about the tunnels, but they did not let me talk about Cynthia Schneider.
Again,
They did not let me talk about Phil Schneider. They did not let me talk about what they're doing there, and I want to talk about that on your show, and I want her on your show again.
All right, we'll make that happen. Joe, stick around. We'll wrap up the second hour. So, yeah, you guys are in for a treat. 2 one-hour segments of the Conspiracy Keepers. They'll be dated 9/14/17. Guys on the other end reset. We already did on this day. So simple, shallow moments, and then headlines for 9:15. A quick commercial break, and we'll wrap it up with Joe Lanier from the Conspiracy Keepers. Find him online, conspiracykeepers.com or theconspiracyzone.org. And we'll be right back, Gotham.
Become a friend of Scooter McGee or like the Scooter McGee Show page. More of the Scooter McGee Show in a moment.
And now, a Sport Clips well-played moment.
Gentlemen, the human brain is a 3-pound question mark. Some say it can move objects just by thinking about it. Sport Clips agrees. Think about your hair getting shorter, and it will. A great MVP haircut experience with a hot steam towel, massaging shampoo, and sports on TV. Don't fight the thought. Come in, sit down, and look at your brain in the mirror and say, well played, sir.
Sport Clips, located in Fort Collins, Greeley, and Longmont, or online at sportclips.com.
Week 3 of the high school football season is here, and already several Northern Colorado teams have big games on the docket. Thursday night, Jason Renoff and the Greeley West Spartans look to make a statement win against Eric Rice and the Fort Collins Lambkins at 6 o'clock. Friday night, University looks to avenge last year's loss to Strasburg. Coverage starts at 5 with football night in Northern Colorado. Saturday evening, 2 great programs match up when Plow Valley marches into Loveland to take on Resurrection Christian at 7. Catch all games on 1310 KFKA or online at 1310kfka.com.
What may be junk to you just might be another man's treasure. From stamps, sports memorabilia, silverware, or old jewelry, what may be junk to you just might be another man's treasures. Located at 2002 9th Street in Greeley, Another Man's Treasures can take these old items and convert them into cold, hard cash. Located at 2002 9th Street, remember Another Man's Treasure.
Matt Rivette started in real estate just in time for the bottom to fall out of the market, and it turns out it was a good time to start. From day one, Matt Rivette had to do it right, serve the client, turn for sale into sold. 32 years later, we know market conditions will change, but Matt Rivette's commitment to you won't. This is a good time to get to know Matt Rivette at Pro Realty. List your commercial, income, or residential property with Matt Rivette. Call Matt Rivette at 970-356-1234 or go to ProRealtyHomes.com.
The problem with most gyms is, well, they're gyms. Double Diamond CrossFit knows what it takes to get the results you're looking for. CrossFit is high intensity, short workouts designed to improve your core and cardiovascular strength. Double Diamond CrossFit has classes throughout the day with certified coaches. You show up, warm up, and build your better body, all with the support of the CrossFit family. Double Diamond CrossFit on the corner of 59th Avenue and 10th Street in Greeley. Call 970-302-2024. And don't forget to ask how you can get a free week on us.
All the information you want and need. And some stuff you probably didn't ever want to hear. This is the Scooter McGee Show on News Talk 1310 KFKA.
The following program is intended for mature audiences.
Welcome back, Hotham. We'll wrap up hour 2 with the Conspiracy Keepers and Joe Lanier. Obviously, we'll return next Thursday. Whether it be on phone or in studio, we'll figure out over the weekend. But what's coming up on the Conspiracy Keepers radar and what should be on your radar? According to Joe Lanier, let's find out. Welcome back, Joe.
Thank you. We want to talk to Cynthia Schneider because both of the big two that have contacted me from my website has been the History Channel and the Travel Channel, and they're very interested in the tunnels under America and under the world in general, and these underground military bases. So I talked about to each of them at length, 2 hours with each of them. The History Channel cut most of what I said out. The Travel Channel, it wasn't so bad. It's going to air again in October. I'll give you the date for that. It's already aired. So they let me say about, well, there are underground tunnels. There are underground military bases. There is a New World Order. They let me talk about that. But what they wouldn't let me talk about is what they're doing in these underground bases. And we had Cynthia Schneider on your show before, and she talked about her husband, which had clearance with the world. And he was the geologist that understood what explosives that he needed to build these underground tunnels and military bases, which has been going on since the 1940s.
Which we've talked about from NORAD, Cheyenne Mountain, to the Los Arcos mines, to now whether you pronounce it Dulce or Dulce, New Mexico.
Dulce, New Mexico, which is a big underground hub. It would be like the New York City of the underground tunnels.
Just like we pointed out that, again, the Soviet Union's so proud, and again, like you mentioned, CIA funded and controlled Discovery Channel, History Channel, the secret tunnels underground. How Moscow had literally an elite subway hidden hidden in plain sight right underneath the public subway.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. So when I was interviewed with these two enormous channels, which is worldwide, millions of people have seen this, the History Channel and the Travel Channel, I gave them so much information. I gave them Cynthia Schneider's information, Phil Schneider. I gave them emails that Cynthia had sent me about. She said, Joe, our life was like the X-Files, but it was real. She told me about Phil Schneider and barrels that he had that she didn't know what meant, but disappeared when he died. So they said it was a suicide. It was not a suicide. He was murdered.
That. Yes, we know that.
So she told me about all this stuff, and I told the History Channel, I told the Travel Channel about that. I even gave them her emails, and they didn't put that on air. All they did was admit that there are underground bases, there are tunnels, but I gave them specific information from someone that has first-hand information, and they cut it all out. So what I want to do is the next time we get together, I'm going to contact Cynthia because I've talked to her a lot, and we've had her on your show before. I want to get her back on the air, and I have not talked about her to these two shows that I've done yet. I mean, I've emailed her and told her that I'm going to do it, and I want her information. I'm going to give it, but I have not talked about her in depth about the fact that they cut it out.
Right.
So that's what I want to do the next time we talk. I want to try to get her on your show and say, Cynthia, wow, this was a huge opportunity for you because I was on the History Channel and the Travel Channel, and they cut everything about what I said about you and Phil out. And I want to get her reaction on that. I think it's going to be a huge show.
Excellent. Okay. And then in the meantime, obviously, we'll know, well, hopefully Jose turns out to be nothing. And yet, if it does, at least we're going to know more in another week where we stand. And just for the record, Joe, I hope to holy high hell I'm wrong. I hope the number of displaced and homeless is less than 250,000 people. But, and I try and stay concerned. You know, again, they cut the power to 17 million people down in Florida.
I know.
That's just one number. And when you look at Houstonians, 80% of them didn't have I'm sorry, the number is just shy of 80%. They don't have flood insurance. So they're screwed. They're effed without a kiss.
I know.
So I hope the number of 1 million.
And that's what the power elite want. They want that situation to happen. Understand that.
Right, so they can control the strings.
Exactly.
So, just for the record, I hope I'm wrong in the number of homeless. It's just that's my gut, visceral, and what some may say that's too high, and I'm still saying I think that's a conservative estimate. And again, I hope to holy high hell I'm wrong. But I fear between Harvey and Irma, screw Jose, and I don't mean that like a racist. I'm just pointing out just those two events alone could literally create 1 million homeless, and that's not something the system is set up for at all.
No, the system is not set up for it, but it's set up for establishing a new world order for that system to work.
They've made that clear, Joe. Here's your Red Cross bag, and here's your rations.
Yep, exactly.
And welcome to the new world order.
Yep.
Back to you, Joe, in the studio.
Yep.
We'll talk soon, my friend.
Love it.
I post the videos. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube thing because even you're eligible for the $200 gift card. It's a roll of 3 dice is how it'll work. And then we'll talk over the weekend.
Yes, we will.
Love you, bro.
Nice show.
Gotham. We are going to go to the top of the hour. The opinions, views, and ideas expressed on this show, as crazy as they may be, do not represent those station owners, management, staff, interns, or mascots. Take it with a deep breath, a grain of salt, and a shot of your choice in that order. Guys, start with shallow moments. And then when we come back, headlines for 9:15.
So you think the Pawn Stars are in Vegas, huh? Have you